my coffee, and he's jumping on the couch because there is no rules when it comes to a pandemic. We have a trampoline right there.
The biggest concern people had was this whole thing about their kids being out of their routine, right? And that affects a lot of our families differently. So even for my children, so my son is like, woo, like I don't have any therapists, like he is okay. Where my daughter is like, why am I not going to school? Like she puts on her backpack, she puts on her pretty dress, and she's like ready to go. And I know that a lot of other families are dealing with a lot of like meltdowns with their children because they're out of routine and, you know, they're not sleeping well, they're not eating well, they're acting out aggressively. So routine change has been huge. And I think with that, because that routine revolves around us not having access to our therapists and our schooling, right? So a lot of parents are also worried about regression, which is huge, which was a big worry for me, especially with Jackson in his school, because he works so hard to get to where he is. So I know regression is like a huge worry for a lot of families. And so I'm kind of in that mindset where I'm like, okay, if Jackson doesn't learn a dang thing during this quarantine, I'm fine. Like if he doesn't gain anything new, I'm okay with that. But I really, really want to make sure that he doesn't regress. And I think a lot of families are kind of at that same place.
Today is better than what yesterday felt like. I feel like every day is a little bit different, but like, you know, we have the three of them. Mm-hmm. So KK and Brian are very eager to do work.
Hi KK.
And they want to do stuff all the time, and our other one does not want to do any kind of work at all. So
it's hard. Again, it's hard with our kids. They're out of their routine. And
today feels better because I think he's like falling into a routine. I don't know if it's the best routine, but he's falling into one. Whereas like he was pretty emotional the last few days and like angry. He is the type of kid that's like loves vacation and stuff. He loves to have off from school. But then even late last week, he said to me, do I get to go to school today? Like, I miss my friends. So.
He definitely doesn't ask for school. But last night when I was putting him down, I asked him, I said, do you miss school? And he said, yes. So that's been a little bit of a struggle. I said, do you miss your friends? Do you miss your teachers? And he said, yes. And normally when I say, hey, okay, let's get ready for school, he's like, no. But now it's a yes. So I know that he's needing that.
She really misses school, and I think it's kind of thrown her off a bit. Like she's been sleeping a lot more during the day. Yesterday she took a 4-hour nap.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and she falls asleep during the day. Like you cannot wake her up. Like she has to sleep for a few hours before she's able to even be like coherent. How's Henry doing with the no school?
He's doing okay, but he's not sleeping. He's not going to bed before midnight. He's staying in his bed.
That sleep would affect a lot of our kids because they're getting a lot of like that stimulation and input during the day where it helps kind of tire them out. I don't know, at least for Vanna, that's usually the case. She knows when she was going to school what to expect every day on certain days and at certain times, but I know that this is such like a shock for her. I'm trying not to like have like a crazy schedule going for her and just kind of like do touch and go and see how she's doing or how she's feeling.
Oh, this is his time to shine. Like he doesn't have to put on pants. He doesn't have to shower nightly. He can play his games all day. Like this is his time. He's insanely happy because he doesn't have to leave the house. Like, telling him he can't leave the house is the greatest thing ever for him. Our problem is going to be when we return to normalcy and we have to start getting him back out of the house. That's going to be... He's been sleeping on the couch. He refuses to, like, go to bed, which is fine. I don't really care that he sleeps on the couch. At least he's sleeping, I guess. But he's also waking up insanely early. The other morning, I heard him turn on his PlayStation at like 5 a.m. and I was like, oh my God, not yet. We're gonna have to put in place like a bit of a schedule. And then you might want to do another Zoom with me because I might be losing my mind.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be doing lots of Zooms with you guys.
That's how Declan is. He's going to be falling asleep much later and waking up so early, and like he'll just sit there. He sleeps in the same room as me, so he will just wake up and he's sitting there, but he's like sitting at my desk looking out the window talking about the birds.
Hi, Quinn.
Hi. This is going great.
Yeah, I know.
So, like, can you imagine trying to be on conference calls and this is going on at all times?
No.
Everybody go with Cole. Go watch TV in his room. Or your room, Quinn. She just got a TV. I'm like, quarantine?
Yeah.
Guess we'll wait on,
Yes.
I'll lift that restriction of having a TV in your room.
Yeah.
Enjoy your month,
Yeah,
kiddo.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's funny how
Go
much
in
my
the other
parenting
room.
rules have changed.
Oh my gosh, there is no rules in our house anymore.
No.
I'm like, Henry was jumping on the couch. I was like, oh. I'm like, whatever you can do to survive. We are in survival mode right now.
It's just, we're living in a state of chaos, but my house is cleaner than it's ever been. Like, it's crazy because all I do is clean, do laundry, work, clean, teach, jump on Lexia, do something, and it's hard. This isn't vodka, by the way. Not yet.
I wouldn't be judging you if it was. It is 2:00 your time, so it's 11 months.
2:15 my time.
Yes.
Too bad I'm like, who makes 4:00 conference calls when we're homeschooling a million kids? Come on. Mind you, I'm like,
I'm just trying to keep as much normalcy as I can. I mean, he just doesn't fully understand, like, that everything is, like, closed. He'll say something like, well, or what are we doing this weekend? How come we're not going here? Or even said something about church. I'm like, church isn't open. Like, everything is closed. He's like, everything? And, like, he's just not understanding, like, you know.
I know.
You can't go anywhere and do anything. And we're not going anywhere. Like I said, we've literally gone to dance and back. And that's the only place that he's gone. And I don't know. I mean, I think he's kind of like enjoying a little bit of just having a lot of freedom of just playing and riding his bike. And I mean, I knew our lives were like go, go, go. But like, you don't really realize that until you are like forced to stop. You're like, holy cow. We were living on a hamster wheel, just like constantly going. So it's been a bit of like a reality, a bit of reality check for us. But
Maria, I think, misses her routine and her friends a little bit more. I think for Jackson, you know, he's had constant therapy for 5 years. And so it's been like the first break that he's ever had. So he's like, he's like having his best life right now. So, you know, but we're just letting him enjoy it and relax and watch TV and play with your iPad.
Yeah.
And, you know,
yeah.
I mean, if it's 2 weeks, it's 2 months, it's whatever it is, you know, and they'll get back on their track and be fine eventually.
Yeah. It's getting through that point, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, and getting through in one piece without like, adding anxiety to him or to her, and it's just like, we're just gonna treat this as free time, you know.
He's actually doing better than I thought he would. His behavior's no different than it was.
Yeah.
So, like, mood-wise, he's fine. He's happy and kind of normal. I think he's just happy to not be working every day. Kind of thinks it's like one really oddly long vacation.
Yes.
I'm sure there will be an academic regression because just like over summer or a long break, there always is.
Yeah.
But I kind of never thought that we would be 3 or 4 weeks without all of our therapy and all of the school, and he's fine.
Yeah.
So he gets summer school, so I don't know what they're going to do with summer school. I don't know if there will be summer school. He was supposed to go to a speech camp this year for his device. That was going to be awesome.
I remember that. Oh, no.
Now I don't even know if they're having speech camp. So
oh, no.
Everything is crazy.
It is so crazy.
it's been a whirlwind of emotions. You have good days, you have bad days.
Yeah.
And then there's today.
Yeah.
But I think he's starting to get agitated, and I'm afraid of regressing, you know. We've come such a long ways from him being aggressive and self-injuring. I feel like we had finally come through that, really. And now we're seeing him get a little more agitated, and he seems very self-controlled. Like, you know, he puts his hands together and he'll tell us if he's angry, you know, on his iPad. And so we give him breaks, you know, and right now we're kind of lifted all the rules and we're bending everything we can. And I'm thinking, like, this is going to be bad, because I mean, like, I'm just thinking, like, what's going to happen when he goes back? Like, we're going to have a tough time.
I know.
You know, it's going to be rough when the services start up again, because he's not had them. And that's what's hard, I think, because it's like, he needs that. He needs to be busy, and he needs to be busy. Yeah. If he's not busy, he's a menace. And he will destroy and take things apart. And it's like, no, we're not going to do that today. Yeah. You know, I caught him earlier today trying to smuggle my utensils out of the kitchen. You know, to take them outside. And I'm like, God, we're not going to do that. I'm like, I need these utensils to feed you. I can't just go to the store right now and replenish them, you know? So, oh my gosh. Yeah.
He's having a lot of sensory issues, sensory seeking anything and everything as far as motion, activity, overstimulating is where he's at right now. So we've got a couple of his therapists working on a sensory diet to kind of help alleviate some of that. He's seeking pressure, bear hugs, the big red ball pressing on the back. He will dive into furniture. He will run from one side of the room to the other and bounce into the wall, bounce into the couch. He's got a big nasty bruise on his shin from not paying attention and doing that. He's got a gash on his elbow from diving into the couch so deep that he went into the back frame part of the couch and he scraped his elbow on the couch. Yeah. So, yeah, he's seeking a lot of sensory stuff right now.
It sounds very similar to Henry. Like, he will just from behind attack us and like grab and running around everywhere.
I ended up buying him one of the little 48-inch trampolines just for inside the house so he can jump whenever he wanted to. Yeah. Hoping that would help. But yeah, he's definitely noticing that there's something different.
So Brendan has like severe food allergies. He's like allergic to every major food group. And like my anxiety for like the 5 things that he's eats, like keeping that stock, like right now, the one kind of cookies, like I have gone to Whole Foods numerous times. They don't know when they're getting them in. I'm starting to have a panic attack because if he ran out of like the 5 things that he eats, he won't eat and he doesn't care. Like everyone seems to be out of everything right now. Like I've like contacted the company going, can I buy a case from you? Like they don't even sell it online. Like I'm starting to have like a little bit of a panic attack with the food part that people just don't understand. I'm like, yeah, you might be getting all that for your kid, but like if you only knew that my kid will not eat anything else but that one specific kind and brand, or you know,
what's the name of the cookie? I'll be on the lookout for it.
Hey, go get the box of your cookies. Yeah, I've like contacted
the company. Picture,
yeah,
I can look here.
We're in the same boat with the food. Declan only eats 2 foods right now. He only eats eggs and fruit snacks. And eggs are really hard to get right now. And so my husband had been following all of this, and he knew that it was coming. So he started stocking up on stuff before he bought a freezer, everything, because he was eating Van's gluten-free waffles at the time. And now with the stress of everything, when things get stressful for Declan, he will like self-limit even more. So now, like I said, we're only on the 2 foods, and I can tell he's getting sick of eggs. Like, you can only eat eggs so much before you're like, you want a different taste. So it's really hard, because at school he will eat certain foods, like nothing very good, but Jell-O and yogurt, and he won't eat those at home. I think that people don't understand the fear that comes along with a situation like this, and a child who is on the spectrum and either self-limiting with food or not able to get services. Just being a parent in this situation is stressful, and then never mind you add these other challenges on top of it. It's very isolating and scary and stressful.
Caleb only will eat Cheetos and Great Value vanilla wafers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I look like a crazy woman at the store buying. I didn't buy all the bags, but I bought the majority. I think I left 2 on the shelf.
Yeah.
Because I have to. We go through a bag and a box of Great Value vanilla wafers, which are different than Nabisco vanilla wafers, and any kind of Cheetos he'll eat, and then Great Value graham crackers.
People just don't understand what our kids go through with this.
Positives, and I never knew that it would have to take a pandemic, but he's eating new foods.
Yay!
So that's a big plus. I mean, you know, he's eating my hamburgers that I make at home. He would have never, you know. He ate bruschetta the other day, and I thought, you know, when I was making it, you know, I said, hey, Sammy. Sammy comes around, and he's very, you know, he's very nosy. He loves to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, buddy, you want some? And he kind of looked at it and was like, and Scott was like, oh, he's not going to eat that. And I'm like, oh, watch me. Now I've got to prove it to you. And I'm like, hey, Sammy, take a bite, buddy. And he's like, he took a bite.
Nice.
And Scott's eyes were like, what?
It's a confusing time. It's confusing even for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on, and my routine has been turned upside down, and day to day I don't really know what to expect. And so again, I just imagine being a child with autism and how that must feel to them, and then suddenly to get thrown back into everything before is going to be confusing as well. I think one thing we know about every child with autism is they just have this huge capacity to be resilient and learn and get back into it. So I think that in a lot of ways we're going to see some really cool things happen too.
As we feel depleted now from the stress of the situation, this is what our kids are feeling all the time. And maybe if they want to relate more to an autistic kid, it is understanding how this feels to them now is what our kids feel all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe how we are trying to be kind and caring and more compassionate to our neighbors because they're under stress, that's how they need to be all the time with our kids. They're always at this level of stress, and that maybe the next time you interact with someone, you'll give them a little bit of a pass and just be kind and caring and compassionate, because I can't imagine running around with this stress level all the time.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability, right? It's prevalent here. There's a chance that you know somebody who either has a disability, it could be visible or invisible, right? Or you know a family. Autism is so prevalent. You know, Down syndrome is getting to be more prevalent. You probably know somebody who has an autistic child or a child with Down syndrome, or even a child who's medically fragile. And what I would just say is reach out to them. Like, don't be shy about reaching out to them. Call them. I mean, really, people, I think, underestimate how much that human connection means to us. We have to get out of our own headspace and our own thinking of how bad things are in our space here, and think about what you can do for somebody else right now. Right now is really a moment to give and to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and to give back to those who you know are struggling. And us special needs parents are struggling right now. This is hard.
We're on Daniel and Zane's yard doing a chalk drawing message, and thought this would be a fun thing to do because we haven't seen them in a long time and we miss them, and Henry misses them. Say hi to Daniel and Zane. Say hi. Hey, look. Henry, say hi, Daniel. Hi, Zane. Can you say hi? Hey, look. Say hi. Hi. Yeah, good job.